It's another week in the album review club. We got a little cold this week. Straight Loud Entertainment. Let's get it!
Hey, Merry Christmas.
Man, it's Happy New Year, bro.
Let's just make up lies about when this actually happened.
Hey, Happy April Fool's Day, bro.
Happy Valentine's Day, guys.
Happy Leif Erickson's Day.
Happy Columbus Day, guys.
Hey, got him in here. Happy Veterans Day, bro.
Hey, Happy Veterans Day.
I'm gonna be real with y'all, bro. Shout out to Bryce Young and the Panthers. You know what I'm saying? We we are into the season the way we want to. We got our quarterback. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna see y'all in the draft. You know what I'm saying? You Schmid me. NC stand up. I'm like the only real NC dude anyway up here. So it's
Are you really from DC?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Don't worry about that. Aren't you from the upper north?
Yes. Yes, I am. Yes, actually, I am.
Aren't you from the Northern Territory?
Not that far.
That's where Santa Claus lives.
That's my guy's hat on. That's what they all wear up there, right? That's the
Santa hats, yes. Yes, in all of Canada, all we walk around in is Santa hats, yes.
Give everyone gifts.
What is this? What is this Canada that you speak of?
It's because there's always a light chance of snow in Canada. There's always a light chance of snow.
That was smooth. That was smooth. I like that.
Hey. Secret Santa, this is the last week of it, and it was Justin's weekend. He got Let's Get It. Motivation 101. You know, like we always do before we get started, get your drinks.
Tea. Tea. Shout out to the pause.
Woo! Alright, so quick tell of the tape before we pass it off to Justin, because I'm pretty sure we about to have a lot to say about this one. It dropped in July 2005. It debuted at number 2 in the top 200, selling 172K first week, eventually going double platinum. And it was led by 4 singles, which was And Then What, Soul Survivor, Go Crazy, and My Hood. So Justin, 40, my brother, someone gifted you a classic.
This is a tough. How do I feel about it? It's crazy to hear Jeezy, because this was a 2005 album, which for me, I just was on a different path. Because I do remember when Jeezy was popping off, but this was like, it's weird because during like the 2005 era of music, there was a lot of stuff. Like there was a lot of artists that you could just be following, and you would not really like. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about it. But it feels like.
Let me sprinkle it in there. This was his first commercial solo album.
Oh, that's crazy.
So
the album. I will say, like, listening to this album and then just like it gives you that like huge nostalgia vibe of just like going to school or like watching like BET and just knowing that like a lot of these like you know it's weird. I know it sounds weird coming from me, but I used to watch a whole lot of BET and just like keep up with like which artists were coming out, and so it's just fucking wild to like hear a lot of these songs and go, oh yeah, this is all like in one album. Like this is wild. There was like a lot of times where like that shit was locked up. Also, shout out to it going like the album is Young Jeezy, but now he just changed his name to strictly Jeezy. I think he respects the fact that time has progressed. No.
Gotten older.
Yeah, he's not. He's older now. But eventually he'll become old Jeezy,
Yeah.
and then we'll get the final culmination of his classics.
So
But no,
Lil Bow Wow became just Bow Wow.
yeah. But that was. I mean, that one made sense. The Lil Bow was like that's like Little Romeo. Like those were what 10-year-olds rapping and stuff, and like, oh shit.
It's like
Yeah.
he became Cape Cheddar.
Wasn't Little Bow Wow not even a part of Snoop's family? Like, wasn't he just some random kid that then Snoop like, or was it actually a thing? Because I remember seeing a video about it. And that's a whole other thing. We'll skip that.
Okay. Okay. All
Oh no, he's
right.
randomly Squid Game reference.
I'm on episode number 2 of the second season. It's not as eventful.
I didn't even think to give it a shot. I saw it come out and I was like, nah, I'm good. That one was lightning in a bottle. I don't feel like season 2 was anywhere warranted.
But 40, who you passing it to, man? Who you want to hear from first?
Pass it off to the Woo before he gets shot.
Hold on. I just lost my note. All right, there we go.
I'm passing to Kobe. Oh no, don't get back to it.
Off the rip, this is whatever rating I decide to give this album, I'm going to go ahead and give it a classic multiplier from my camp. Because for me, this is a top 10 album. Hell, like you said, it was hella nostalgic. I think it dropped when we was like 12, 13. And I remember when I first heard it, I actually got it. My sister got it as a bootleg, and she let me borrow it. And when she gave it to me, it had like a snowman drawn on it. So like it had the head, the little hole for the circle, like the circle hole.
Yeah.
I mean, the CD hole was that was the middle part, and it had the bottom too. I was like, "Yo, is this a snowman?" She was like, "Yeah, it's pretty good too." She was like, "That's what the actual CD looked like." She was like, "It's pretty good too." And she was like, "When it starts off, all he doing is he just saying ad-libs. He just hey, and he do that first 2 songs, like just start that junk off, just and shoot, it became a classic from that moment on. Cause where I popped it in, that junk start. I ain't know what most of them references was then, but right. So off the rip, there's gonna be some biases coming from over here, and I'm going ahead and throw that out there now. But shoot, I'm gonna slide to Cheddar. Cause I know Fulo about to get all hyped up off of this. So Cheddar, go ahead and give us like some little, give us some peace and quiet before that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a throwback, a lot of nostalgia kind of tossed this album. Kind of like what just what 40 was saying. Uh, it's because it's been a long time since I revisited this album. I didn't realize. I think I maybe realized this back when he did the verses, but like I didn't realize so many of these songs came up. So many of his biggest hits came off of this first album. There's so many like classic songs that like going back to it's like, oh man, Go Crazy was on that album. Oh man, Trap Star was on that same album. Hood, My Hood was on that same album. Man, Jeezy was having a hell of a run when he came out the gate sprinting. That's what I have to say. His introduction to the main stage was a full course sprint. Definitely yeah, no. Yeah. But no, 40, what's your Jeezy tidbits?
Easy tidbits. His name's not Iceman. It's definitely Snowman. I found that one out once. Don't make that mistake, guys. Just want to let you know if you randomly are put on the spot and you say Iceman for some reason because you're thinking about Marvel. Yeah, that's not the same guy. He ain't Bobby Drake. Jeezy's actual name is not Bobby Drake. I've heard that before. It is kind of crazy though that Jeezy kind of like I'm looking at the 2005 albums that came out because that was during like late registration. So Kanye West put out Gold Digger, and then you have like you just have like a lot of like weird cats putting out their albums, but then you also have like 50 Cent The Massacre and stuff like that. But then like Jeezy is kind of I don't know, man. Like you got the Paul Wall putting up stuff. It's weird. Like that 2005 era, USA Yin Yang Twins. Like this is one of those eras where you really do just pick and choose your rap guy to follow, and you kind of can stick in that lane, which means that like people went to like the Jeezy route, and they just got a lot of hood trap music. It's crazy, and then
beginnings of trap.
Yeah, and then you have other people who are just like, oh man, Curtain Call by Eminem. Like, you're just in a different fucking ballgame. Or you got Common. Like it is a weird era. Shout out to 2005 rap game. I didn't notice that. But nah, man.
Hey, Fuller, go ahead and preach to him real quick.
Go ahead, full up.
Hey man.
Go ahead, no, Visor.
So first of all, I just want to go ahead and say, yes, 40. I know that you. Hopefully, this album review club has changed your opinion on hip hop. But yes, multiple artists do make different types of hip hop, and it can't all release in the same year. It is. It's actually quite exciting. There's a lot going on, but that's one. But nevertheless,
Black dude.
we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and talk about. We're gonna go ahead and talk about Jeezy. So first of all, first record I heard from Jeezy was "Can't Ban the Snowman." All right, it was a mixtape. It was on one of my brother's old burn CDs, and I was like, "Yo, what's this blank CD?" And he was like, "I don't know. Somebody just gave it to me." So I started playing it, and my upbringing in hip hop, I'm gonna keep it kind of short. Start with like '80s rap, which is like LL Cool J and KRS-One, and Rakim, and Big Daddy Kane. Then I immediately went to gangster rap, and when gangster rap was like so solidly in like West Coast, it was Pac, it was Ice Cube, it was NWA, early NWA. And so it's just like, then there was like this gap after Pac and Biggie got killed. There was kind of like this gap where you had people coming out making hard records, but won't nobody really like gangster rap. Like people kind of backed away from it because people were actually getting killed. Jeezy with Can't Ban the Snowman
Man,
and this.
hold on. I like how you said that as if you was listening to this when Pac got killed. You say you was there currently. Nigga. Like when Pac got killed, niggas really won't make a gangster music like that.
There was a drought in the rap game for a
Like
while.
you heard all this shit.
There literally was. You can go back and look at the
But
gap
you heard all
where
this
it's like people stopped
shit
making
later.
gangster music.
So
I ain't
50
gonna
Cent
lie.
never
But
came
Hold
out.
on a second.
you heard
Hold on
all
a
this
second.
shit together,
Food's
nigga. You heard
talking.
all this shit years
Hold
later.
on. Hold on. Food's talking. Anyway, look, man. So here we go. So it's like this, man. Jeezy comes out 2003, 2004, 2005, drops this in 2005, and this going through this whole album, it was like the first time listening to it again. And this is like bar none a classic, and like he single-handedly made it cool to start talking about drugs and like real gang shit again, like basically by himself. Yes, there were other people involved, but this shit went like diamond. like this shit, like shit went like platinum and diamond at the time, or platinum at the time. Like he's exactly Triple D, man. Top five forever. He's always in my top five. Let's go ahead and get into this, man.
Wait, I got one little.
In the words of Birdman, I ain't gonna do too much talking. All right, go ahead.
I got one little. I guess you could maybe call it a cheddar bomb to drop though, but because like my introduction to Jeezy back in the day was, it was either and then what or them boys, but they both came out. I feel like they both came out around the same time. Like they dropped the videos for them. They both kind of premiered around the same time, and I was kind of confused because like you never really see like a group and a solo act like kind of trying to drop it at the same time. Like you don't really normally see that, and come to find out, like I only found this out, I think relatively recently though. But like, because I always thought Boys in the Hood was like a group of boys that like grew up together and decided to hop into the rap game or something like that. Come to find out, it was just a group that like Block put together as like we're gonna be the Atlanta version of NWA. So I got these guys. I got Jody Breeze gonna be my point guard, leading the crew, and then like I'm bringing this trapper rapper and bring them together. Kind of find out, because Jeezy never wanted to be in Boys and Hood like that. He wanted to use it as like a stepping stone, and it was always his goal to, I guess, run a record label. Like CTE was there from the jump. Like before he even dropped the first records, CTE was around kicking. That was like the first thing he did. And in fact, I think the only reason why he got into the rap game is because their lead artist was like up for a murder charge. So then it was him and Kiki B in the studio, like, yo, what are we gonna do now? And Kiki B turned to Jeezy and was like, you know what? Why don't you become the next rapper? Why don't you just do it for us? And the rest was basically history. It's crazy. But yeah, man.
You find out
All
about
that.
this.
Let's get.
That'd be a cool documentary to watch. To be honest with you.
Hey,
It would
all
be.
right,
It would
man.
be.
Look,
But
who's,
we some
who's
boys.
starting off the
Who's
highlights? Who's
anything.
starting off the highlights?
40.
Oh
Hey,
yeah, let's go highlights. I'm going.
I had to do mine a little bit different because I wanted to challenge myself with this one because I listen to this album quite often. So, instead of like doing my favorites, I did 5 classics I love, 5 I can take away because my biggest hit on this is way too long, and
Hey, oh,
and 4 songs
hey,
that I
oh.
earn respect for. So I'm gonna just drop them jumps in.
Okay.
But 40, go ahead, baby. It's on
Well,
you, man.
I like how you go and put a little fucking curveball when I only picked 3. he's like, by the way, I'm going 5. It's like, shit, I didn't bring enough to the table.
We
You bastard.
got to start.
I'm gonna just go and keep it short and sweet then. I'm gonna go crazy. I love that beat, and then it's made by Canon, which I did like.
John Cannon.
Canon back in that day was like someone I always liked. But I think it felt like Jay-Z fucking used Canon all the time. My Hood, I always liked My Hood. Like that song had always been like a little like place in my heart. And then the problem with this album is that like there's a lot of songs I can pick and I feel like they're completely fine. But one that stuck out to me because I didn't really know it at the time, so I picked something that I didn't know. Like instead of picking like my top 3 and just go like Survivor or something ridiculous, right? I went and picked Talk to Him. I actually like that song.
Which song?
I like that. Let's Talk to Him. Like right before Air Forces. I just thought it was like Jeezy on this album is like, if you want to establish yourself, this is how you do it. You're not gonna just put on an album. You got your features, but Jeezy kind of controls the entire album throughout. Like it's crazy. So it's like you never really feel one way or the other. You're just like, oh no, Jeezy's really good. He's consistent. Songs are gonna be fine. And Talk to Him, I just love the funky ass beat. Kind of have like a little gospel feel like to it. I loved it. But I'm gonna go ahead and pass it off to Woo. Tell me what you pick.
All right, man. My positivity is brought to you by baking soda. Oh, hold on. We got. We're gonna work and get him back up in here. But the 5 that I had to run with because they was hits when I first heard them, and to this day I still play them as if they're new songs. First ones, and then what? Of course, this is the first single that I heard from Jeezy. It's when it popped up on BET randomly, and the things that stuck out to me most about that was how the rest of the yams at your auntie house, and how he starts his verse off with patty cake, microwave. The drug talk is incredible, man. And then, of course, he also has the classic, "Hey, Snowman, can I get an ad lib?" And he ends it with an ad lib. Yeah, man, it was just beautiful. My Hood, that's one of my favorites. I feel like it's such a playful hood song, and come to find out, it basically has like a slight sample of Rubber Band Man. That's the T.I. one for you.
Yeah. I found that out this week. I never. It's weird. I always heard like My Hood. And I was like, something's familiar about this song, like forever. And this makes sense. This makes perfect sense. I never picked it up.
And of course, with that song, he gave us the classic "Forward Towards Pull Up, Everybody Run, White Boys Jump Out." What with that? Man, y'all already know.
I will say I also never heard that.
Stop. It's like the Pledge of Allegiance. I memorized when I was a kid. Come on now.
Then we got Bottom of the Map. Just the sound that where it starts off, where it sounds like you hitting like the little metal joint, like a playground or some shit like that. It reminds me of you, Justin, because you like random shit like that. He put random shit in that song. And of course, my favorite takeaway from that is you better call your crew. You gonna need help. Whole car strapped in. I ain't talking seatbelt.
Hey.
All right. And to kind of wrap this all together, this whole time he was going crazy. So Go Crazy. Kind of biased about it. I prefer the version without Jay-Z.
I'm gonna throw a flag on that. So here's the deal. If you guys don't know a lot about me and Woo have gone back and forth for years about the fact that we don't, and we're not gonna get into it right now, we don't really fuck with Jay-Z. like we don't really fuck with Jay-Z. How the fuck ever. Side note, I feel like Jay-Z's a little bit overrated. We can have a conversation later on. But this verse is wild. Like it's not that Jay-Z was amazing on this. It's more like they went together perfectly on this. Because I think there's a total of, I might be wrong, I think there's a total of 3 versions. I might have just heard some like mixtape
Fat Joe
that shit. No one's ever gonna listen to this. But like, I'm not gonna sit here and like false flag like Jay-Z did and Spaz on Go Crazy, and they just went together really well. I will say, for a long time, I kind of figured it was even. I was like, Jay-Z did this thing, and then Jeezy did this thing. I'm gonna go ahead and say, now this might be a little bit of Jeezy bias. I feel like Jeezy like really killed it. Guess who's Bazak? Still smelling blow on my clothes like Krispy Kreme.
I was cooking them all.
Oh, like bro, stop playing with me, bro.
Time to switch it up. Got to recycle the flow.
Okay.
Like said, and my final one would be Standing Ovation.
Oh my God.
Me and Full have talked about this, and I don't understand why you said what you said the other night.
We're gonna get to it, man. We're gonna get to it.
We're gonna throw it out right now. He was like, Standing Ovation is too motivational. All right. So me personally,
it's
I feel
what?
like he said it's too motivational. He's like, he don't like motivational
This
Jesus.
is Motivation 101.
Okay, can we get to the low light so I can actually state my point? You're misrepresenting my argument.
I'm on Standing Ovation, so I'm standing on my ovation. You feel me? So
that's not how you use either one of those words.
I personally feel like Standing Ovation should have been the introduction song to the album. Of course, with that one, I got like nostalgia, like years, like probably like a year later, like last year when I was driving through my neighborhood, and me just casually jumping in the car, put some Jeezy on, jump starts off, driving through my neighborhood. Jump Out Boys, I just jumped out on somebody down the street, like in the neighborhood. I was like, oh shoot, I'm in the hood for real. And then, I got to the point he was like, I emerged from the crack smoke. I was like, I don't do that, but I feel you though. I feel you though.
I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real, bro. I'm gonna be real. Go dick. Yo, be real with you, bro.
You had me a whole 90s chorus like you was there, nigga.
This is not this. Look, man. Everyone always says this about Standing Ovation, and I'm a Jeezy die-hard fan. I don't fuck with this song. I don't know what you guys are hearing when you guys hear this song. We will get into it when we get to my low lights.
This nigga said, I'm infatuated with the birds. I watch Animal Planet. Come on, man.
Oh my God.
Oh, man, what is we talking about?
I didn't say Jeezy forgot how to rap on the song. It just there's just a lot of stuff with this song where I'm just like, especially compared to the rest.
Man,
you know what? We're gonna go ahead and get to Food's highlights because
it's on Cheddar.
It's not. Cheddar disconnected. Cheddar disconnected again.
Like that. It's on Cheddar.
I threw a flag on that earlier, but I just wanted to say I feel like Standing Ovation would be much better as the last track on the album rather than the first. But that's just, I digress. Highlights for me. I try to do a little something different and just limit. I try to limit myself to just 3. So what I did is I picked maybe like a top 2. It was really hard, man. And then I picked the top 2 that were like some classes for me, and I picked one that I was like, I didn't listen because I was going to right. And then what? Definitely probably a top 1 for me. Like I said, Jeezy came out the gates running. With that being like his intro to the main stage, I feel like that was a fire track. Manny Fresh on the beat. Manny Fresh did his damn thing. And then Trap Star. Trap Star just goes so hard, man. Trap Star, the beat is fire. The lyrics on it. It's just every time you hear that song, it's just God knows. Bucket of crab legs, slick cat lobsters. You know what I'm saying? I'm just out here chilling on this track.
Trap Star. Shout out to Ned. Trap Star. He's right. Trap Star's right.
Yeah. And then I'd also say which one was it? It was Don't Get Caught Up. Because I don't think I've ever heard that song before. So I put that one in because it surprised me because like I said, I don't think I've ever heard that song before. And it was a nice track. There's a huge run in the middle of this album that Jeezy just goes on where it's like, and then what? Go crazy, last of a dying breed, my hood, bottom of the map, get your mind right, Trap Star, bang, Soul Survivor. Like it's like a solid like 8 to 9 to 10 tracks in the middle of it. It's like, God damn, Jeezy, calm down.
Yo, wait, swear to God. Me and Kobe have not spoke about this album all week. I said the same thing to Will like 2 days ago. I was like, there's a run on this album where it's just like 19 songs. The run's like 11.
Yeah.
The run's like 11 songs just straight where it's like, yo, is this whole shit gonna be like this? This whole fucking album. obviously after standing ovation. But yeah.
But yeah, no,
Yeah.
go ahead. Fu, Woo.
All right, man. We're gonna keep it pretty
Who?
simple, bro. So yo, shut up. So I didn't limit myself. However, what I did was I chose like I'm just gonna
Man,
give y'all.
limit yourself now, nigga. Come
I ain't
on,
gonna
nigga.
limit shit. Like
You
here
know
we
how
go. So
impossible it is for Jared to limit himself.
thank you. So I'm just gonna say what
Mr.
I
Fuller
say
himself.
to keep it for my favorite track. I'm gonna say my favorite track off of this. Favorite track off this album. And here's the crazy part is going back to listen to it this week, I did not think that this was gonna be my favorite shit off the album. Bottom of the map. Like
Yeah.
it's like knowing what he went on to be, knowing how big this album became, like how legendary this album is, like when he's like once again, what did I say like a couple lives ago? Like I like when rappers start really getting into their lore, where it's just like y'all niggas like really don't understand. Like this is me, and also geographically when he's saying like bottom of the map, once again, like obviously this wasn't like an album that put everybody was like, oh man, people in the South are rapping. But no artist had been like this before Jeezy from the South. Like really, really like the whole album's drug talk. The whole album's drug talk, but it also has bops. I'm gonna blow up off this album. I have mad features. I'm gonna put Akon on, shout out to Akon. Wild fucking song. So I'm just gonna say one, bottom of the rap is like, oh, bottom of the map is crazy. Obviously, there's a lot of songs I like up here, but I wish I had heard Bottom of the Map like when I first heard Go Crazy,
Ooh.
because I might not like Go Crazy as much.
Right.
Like it's fire. Low Lights.
I would say bottom map is one of the first one, or one of the, like on my original listen to the album, like way back, my first listen, that was one that stuck with me like from that moment. I was like, ooh, I like this. And I feel like it didn't get a lot of shine because it wasn't one of the singles or whatever, but I feel like back in the day, I remember that.
It should have been one of the singles. Yeah, like back in the day, if that had been one of the singles.
Man,
Honestly, a number of these songs could have been the singles. We're gonna be also. I want to say this just to reiterate. Cheddar basically said everything I wanted to say because the other thing I was gonna say, if he had not said it, was Trapstar, and Ned said it too in the chat. Trapstar is just like I don't. He has this way of like. It's like a stadium. It's like when you listen
Yeah.
to Genius music, it's like you can just imagine yourself in like a stadium environment, and it's just like
with a white tee and some white ones.
exactly like this shit.
Black t-shirt.
This shit, like
Yeah, master strap.
With a
Hey.
big ass fitted on. I mean,
it's like a bucket hat. but no,
And,
but nah.
oh, wait. Hey, 40, because I know 40 usually watch the videos for this stuff. Did you watch the video for Trapstar?
Oh,
It was
God.
it was like a spoof on what's that movie with Samuel L. Jackson and the cops and all that stuff. Bro,
Jurassic Park.
hey,
SWAT. It was SWAT. It was a spoof on SWAT.
aren't y'all the movie
Where
special?
he's like,
But no,
no,
like every video he did from this, I think from this album was like a spoof on a movie because this like Trapstar was SWAT, like Soul Survivor was that movie with Cameron
Oh,
and the boys.
was it Lake View Terrace?
dude,
I don't know.
like, dude,
Hey, hold
I ain't
on.
gonna
Wait, also, quick side note. Wait. Before we get to low lights, because I got to hear what 40 gonna say. I just want to say one more thing. Got the city on smash, the streets on click clock.
Clock.
80 grand just see the roller go tick tock.
It's a Jacob actually. It's not a rolling. It's a Jacob.
Like this shit is wild to go back and listen to him. And the other thing about this, like, you think that like sometimes you forget that like people, you hear a lot of good rappers now. We're like, oh, Kendrick Lamar, blah blah, all these other niggas. Sometimes you forget, man. Like this is 2005. This shit don't sound like it sounds like 2005 because we remember the album. On the low, let's say you took this album out of 2005 and just dropped this bitch down. This shit was still a hit. Like, no edits. I'm not changing nothing. This shit was still a hit.
Well,
but nah, go ahead, 40.
you might have to edit that first part, and then what with manufacturers just going in.
He does drop a couple non-PC terms in that intro.
Hey, 40, go ahead, bro. Go ahead and start.
Oh yeah, low lights,
before,
40.
before I go into the lowlights, I do have a question. Which music video, which song was part of that? Because I did the music videos like very quickly when you recommended it before we even
Trapstar
started doing
was one where it was like he was arrested in the studio, or he got
No,
arrested somewhere, and he's like, "I'll give you $1 million and somebody come get me."
What was the one with where he's like working at a barber shop and then or like no, he's working at a laundromat, and he's about to
Yeah,
go in.
that's Soul Survivor.
So, okay,
Well, Soul Survivor was supposed to
cool.
be a spoof on that video Cameron and oh man, dude, it's one of them drug movies from back in the
Cheddar,
day.
you didn't do your cheddar bomb research.
Oh,
Yo, how you gonna know
I
about
figured
cheddar
y'all would
please.
know.
bomb
Hey,
research?
give me a minute. I'll come back. We'll double
Okay,
back to that. We'll double back to that.
but
I know that.
when you watch those videos, though, I will say shout out to whoever did it. You get a clear idea of what Jeezy's about to talk about. Like every single video is just like him in the hood, and then people like you're gonna see a car drive by. You're gonna see people you're gonna see some type of person in like uniform. That's gonna be the like the problematic. But then there's all like I like how Jeezy goes and says like yeah,
There
not
we
only
go.
is everyone against me,
Side note.
but everyone is against me.
Side note. Shout out to Triple Beam. Beam Man. It was paid in full.
Okay.
Mm. Shout out
I know somebody would know. I know somebody would know.
Triple Beam
Recorded
Bomb
low
over here.
lights.
Okay, low lights. So this is one of those where I just picked three that I wasn't really fucking with, rather than, and this is like I will say, I will preface this. This is off of like me like really listening to the album in terms of like I've never listened to it. I didn't have nostalgia going through this because I never listened to this album like that. So a lot of the songs I'm gonna pick, just like it didn't hit for me, kind of deal. And that might just be because of the listen through or what have you. But I didn't really like Last of a Dying Breed. And that's not like to say that there's like something I can point at and be like, that wasn't it. It's just, I guess it's because it's like in between Go Crazy and My Hood that like maybe it's like, as like Cheddar kind of pointed out, like maybe the placement of the song just kind of like, you get kind of screwed. Because if you put like, for me, I like Go Crazy and I like My Hood. So Last of a Dying Breed just didn't hit. And that just might be its own like placement of the album. But other than that,
Part of might have been just for 40.
hmm.
Part of it might have been that Trick Daddy was on that song, and Trick Daddy's from Florida.
It's all Florida.
We
Florida's
know your
fault.
exes are
Yeah,
Florida.
Florida's on my hit list now. Apparently, everybody. I was worried. I was worried going into this that Jesus was going to say representing Florida. I was like, oh shit.
But I will say it's interesting chat too because because I don't know if anybody ever listened to any of the songs off of like Come Shot With Me, but like because Jeezy got a lot of his early influences from Trick Daddy, like that's one of his like idols from back in the day. So like a lot of his early music kind of sounds a little bit like that. But that's just,
that is information I did not know. Actually, this was a fucking this is like a PBS special with Cheddar. Cheddar's just like here's the information.
Yeah, he had to correct himself off that paid in full one.
Here's double down.
and it's painful and SWAT. The other one was SWAT. In case y'all ain't
I'm
know.
gonna say something, and y'all gonna get ready to like go at me. Maybe I'm not sure. So I didn't like Tear It Up, and it's mainly because I don't really want to hear I don't want to hear Jeezy talking about sex. Like I was like hearing, I was like, I don't want to hear about this, man. I'm good. Let's go back to the drug talk. Like, and it wasn't like there's no shade, nothing like that. It's just like I was listening to it, I was like, I don't want to. This album does not. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about Jeezy about to go in. Like any of the people that he had feature on that, I didn't want to hear about them trying to get some pussy. Like I just nice. And then Don't Get Caught. Like that one I just picked as like the third. I just Don't Get Caught was literally just like it caught a script. It basically just sat in the corner. Don't Get Caught literally was just like it got caught in the straight line of fire of me just picking some shit, right? Because like it's really like this album didn't really have like a lot of like clear like, oh, this is just like a SpongeBob SquarePants beat. Like, like there wasn't like a thing where it's just like this was jarring. Jeezy carried every single track. He was probably like the highlight of each song, even when he was featured on it, which was crazy. Shout out to Jeezy for that. But I don't know, man. Like, Don't Get Caught didn't do anything for me. I was just like, okay. You could if you took that off the album, the album's still good enough that it wouldn't change anything. So that's kind of my point. But I'm gonna go and pass it off to Luke.
All right, I'm gonna match you because I got 5. I'm gonna match you with Last of a Dying Breed and Don't Get Caught. I can live without Don't Get Caught. And, I feel like Last of a Dying Breed would be better on mixtape. And for clarification, not saying these songs are bad.
Yo, try to talk to him.
All I'm saying is that this is 19 tracks and I can live without some of them.
All right.
That's my biggest takeaway from it is it's too long. So the whole quote that I put up here is all the title tracks. I'll get rid of Thug Motivation 101. Because like I said, I feel like Stand Ovation should have been an intro. I'll get rid of Let's Get It and Sky's the Limit because like Fullo said, it is too motivational for me. Hey, hands in the
It's
air.
called
Sky's the
Thug
limit,
Motivation.
nigga. Hands
He's
in the
trying to motivate the
what?
thugs.
Nah, back to the drug talk. Um, uh, don't get caught. I'm used to don't get caught, and he kind of does this like every so often. He'll do like a whole little kind of like story type rap with on like his joint up there. He has some on the other motivational 101s and 2s and 3s. But yeah, those are my 5 that I would get rid of. I almost got rid of Trapper Dak. I feel like if it was nowadays, it'll be put on the deluxe. But I kept it simply because that Good Kid, Mad City referencing that track was straight fire. You can't get rid of a classic since Kendrick referenced it.
Shout out
But
to Bumpy.
shut up.
I mean, I actually hot take. I don't really like the beat for Trapper Die. I've never been a big fan of the beat for that one. Like I love most of Shawty Red's production all over this album and all over Jeezy's career. But that one for some reason it just didn't do it for me that much. So Trapper Die, which I mean, in an argument to this that I'm being too long, he could have left off the tracks from Trapper Die or like from the streets, like the tracks that he had on the mixtapes, he could have left those off and it probably would have been a little bit better in terms of it being too long, but also albums at that time were typically pretty long. That's
Yeah,
the thing. Like albums at the time were pretty about 20 something 20 odd tracks and usually some skits thrown in and stuff like that. So I
he ain't had
mean,
no skits. This straight up.
yeah, yeah.
Straight
Yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah. But I just call that like a part of the times. Trapper Dog is really my biggest. I mean, I can see how what you're saying about with what is it? The Don't Get Caught, because Don't Get Caught does sound a little bit different than most of the album in terms of like sonically, it is a little bit different. That's also one of the reasons why I put it as one of my highlights, as it kind of stood out, in my opinion. Um, and I mean, this is supposed to be my low light, but my main low light is really just Trap or Die. But like, yo, Thug Motivation, I feel like sets off the album pretty well. Like, it's a Shawty Red production, and think you set up for a lot of the songs on this album and how they're gonna feel. So I disagree with
Hey,
that.
hey, not red flag, green flag, because I agree. Me and Kofi are kind of locked in on this review. I can't even imagine. This is gonna sound crazy. This is gonna sound kind of crazy. I can't imagine this album without Thug Motivation 101.
It
That
sets it
beat
off so
to
nicely.
start that album is like this haunting hood shit. Like
And
Metro
like you said,
Boomin's
he
got
starts off
Metro
with
Boomin's
Atlas,
got
like
really,
Doug, like you
really
said to
good.
begin with. He starts
Yeah,
off with Atlas, like, yeah.
exactly. Metro Boomin's gotten really good at making like this spooky ass like hood like music. That's why he keeps partnering up with 21 Savage. That's what this felt like. Was like, hey, so what are we about to talk about on this album? And you're like listening to like this dark stories. Every single one of all of these stories are dark, tragic. I'm killing someone, or I'm cooking, or I'm about to get caught. Like, I can't imagine this album like Thug Motivation. Big facts. Let's
And then,
go.
like, I would say, Let's Get It was close to being on the chopping block for me until I thought about it. I'm like, well, the name of the album is Let's Get It, Thug Motivation 101. So it fits very well, in my opinion, as it being
Wait,
motivation. But
wait,
it
wait,
was close to the chopping block
wait.
at one point.
What? What?
Let's get it. Hands in the air.
It was something
Yeah.
about it at first, but I was like, you know what? I can't be mad at him putting it on there when the album is called Thug Motivation 101. Like it makes sense. Let's get it.
Yeah. That is my
Man, I
favorite.
would,
That is
I, I would
Yo, wait.
rather
Hold on.
what calls to let's get it.
Cheddar. I thought we were like this. And
Don't
then
get me wrong. No.
these last two words.
That's not
What are
that's
you
not
talking
that's
about?
not on my low lights. I said it was close. At some point it was kind of close.
Now
And
you
that's
gotta
and
be
low
all
lights are all relative. Like Doug was saying earlier, this is all relative. It's not saying that
Okay,
was a garbage
okay,
track. I don't understand
okay.
it.
But like
There was a point where I was like, I don't know.
you know what? Once again, everyone's got different opinions. That's just crazy coming from you,
I know.
Cheddar. But but I do like how you say it because you were just like, well, the album is called Let's
Yeah,
Get Thug
I
Motivation. All right.
can't be mad at something like that at all. The album's called Let's Get
I'm
It, Thug
trying to
Motivation
stack
101.
it all up like Lego money. Let's go, Jeezy.
Oh,
All
and
right, bro.
this is a low light for myself personally. Because at the time, bro, because like you said, this came out when we were like 12, 13, something like that. Like I didn't know, like, okay. I was this years old when I realized what Jeezy was spelling on Trapstar. I thought he was just spelling Trapstar wrong, or he was trying to squeeze an A in there that I couldn't hear, or something like that. I realized today he's spelling Trapstar and not trap star, but he's legitimately spelling trapster because he's a trapster. And I didn't, I would have known at the time I heard it originally. I would have made sense. I just thought he was skipping a letter because the way you put a T and an E together, if you say it the way Jeezy flows so smoothly, it sounds like a long T, but it's T-E-R. You know what I'm saying? It sounds like he's just saying T-R. I don't know, man, but that's just a little light for myself personally. You know, that's it.
Oh, okay.
I thought he
My bad.
couldn't spell. Come to find out, he
You
was
know
spelling
what?
a different word.
I'm gonna give it to you. We were young.
I wouldn't have known what a trapster was. And I'm like, the name of the song is Trap Star. Why is he not spelling Trap Star?
You know what that? Yeah,
It didn't make sense to my 12-year-old brain.
as someone who just listened to that song, right? I did not even deal with any of that because I'm like, oh, that makes sense. He's saying he's a trapster.
Hey,
I got you. So it's kind of cool.
he
We
did
had two different experiences.
FAME.
Huh?
But when he was rapping, he was like
You
fake.
talking about T.I. song? Yeah. See, that's what I'm like. There's a case in point. There's a track record of Jeezy not spelling things correctly. I don't know. And then T-Pain can't spell anything either. There's a whole bunch of rappers that can't spell. So I just figured he couldn't spell. I don't
All
know.
right, bro. All right.
But I learned. I since have learned.
All right, y'all already know what it is. Y'all, because we already gave it away. Only low light up here. Also, I want to give a shout out to Air Forces at the end. I thought it was a dope way to end. I don't know why. I feel like that's a dope way to end this album. But
I hated trap. I hated Air Forces when it first came out.
And yet, I rest my case.
I love it.
However, you know why I hate it from the very first time I heard it and all the way till now? Standing ovation. I'm sorry, bro. This shit is whack to me. Yo, I don't know what it is, but I don't know what other people hear on this song. It's like that's the one song out of this whole 19 track list where it's like the production and his lyricism, it just takes a dip for me. I've never liked Standing Ovation. And it's so weird to hear him rap like that at this
Like this, trap like that.
Yeah, because everything else was fire. Like the only hot thing I think he said from Standing Ovation was
I remember nights. I didn't remember nights. Damn, you went crazy. Had to get it right.
It's
now I'm your
I
favorite
remember
rapper.
that. I don't remember that.
I'm your favorite rapper.
Hold on. It was the bar where he was like, "I'm your favorite rapper."
Man.
No, it was the one where he was like, "I'm your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. I'm your favorite trapper's favorite trapper." I was like, "Okay, that's
What's the used to find out with that residue? It was iPod white.
All iPods were white back in the day. Young kids.
Literally everybody.
They don't even know what iPods are. iPods don't exist anymore.
Look, man. All I'm saying is this. That's my only low light on this whole album. There's not even I will say I don't really understand the hate for Last of a Dying Breed. I thought that shit was fire. It's like, but maybe that's because I like Trick Daddy. I don't know. And Buck was up there too, so I was kind of just like, oh, this is all right. This is a little. We didn't get a lot of features on this album, so I was just kind of like, hey, if I'm gonna hear a feature, what's wrong with Trick Daddy and Buck, especially at this time? So,
What
you man?
What you thought on the T.I. feature?
Hey, shoot, that's Bang was one of the ones that I earned more respect for because T.I. walked on Bang.
All right.
So, one that retouched me was Gangsta Music because and they don't drink Pepsi. They just
sell
Yeah. I like that. That was a good line. That was a good line. I found that.
And the one when I went back and listened to it, Tear It Up. I'm sorry, Justin. When you got Lloyd up there talking about the Red Dogs and busting in your trap and stuff like that, I don't know. It's just, and then Jeezy come in. I'm gonna tell him. Yeah, it's all right, man.
That's kind of wild to me, bro. But go ahead. All right, so we get into actual ratings. We get into ratings this time.
Yeah.
All right, 40. This is your album of
the
week, big dog.
There's no special. I'm gonna give it an A+. I think there's the production's crazy. Jeezy's if this is as you said, this is his first debut, right? Jeezy did a great job.
My ears clear?
Well, I will say that this. Okay, I'm gonna put this into perspective though. A lot of times when you listen to music, you there's a time and a place for a lot of music. If you are happy and you're listening to something sad, there's kind of this weird air of you just can't get into it, or there's the vice versa. Where if you're just not feeling like you're having a shitty week and you listen to the most poppy, happy-go-lucky shit, I don't know. this is one of those that's like if you are doing shit and you are seeing results and you're getting like in like the things you want to happen are happening and you're just like and you're beating adversity and shit like that. This is an album that is like you're on the stage with Jeezy and you just feel like you're getting your fucking like accolades and your flowers. And this album, like this week was a good week for me. So everything on this album is just like hitting. I'm like, oh shit. And then also, Jeezy's great. Like I've never like followed his career. Well, no,
See,
but like, here's the
what
thing,
y'all out
right?
there, what y'all out there in Instagram land might not know is at the very least a couple months back, 40 said he didn't understand Jeezy at all. He didn't understand why we like Jeezy. He didn't understand any of it. He couldn't mess with it at all. So it's
Well,
very
it's
surprising
more
news to hear.
like it's more like back in the day. I think the album club review helped me kind of break some of my own bad habits, which is just putting things in a box and then being like, oh, this guy is in this fucking box. Fuck everything, right?
We did
Which is true.
it. We
Sometimes
No,
you
yeah,
did
look
it.
in
yeah,
that
yeah.
box, you find nothing but snow.
Okay, 40.
Hey,
Okay,
hold on.
40.
He just did a Jason Tatum quote. Give me a second.
Like, but I will say that like Jeezy kind of this album does show that like he exists in his own realm, like his own like he made his own lane. Like it doesn't feel like his rhyme style is not the most crazy, amazingly complex, so like like triple entendres. But there's times where he will hit you with like great punchlines, great bars, and then like it sticks in your mind. And every time every time you think about it, you're like, oh, I liked everything he was saying. And then like he is a gangster rapper, but he like makes it feel like he's kind of showing respect to like he always pays respect to his hood. He pays respect to like that kind like he doesn't villainize. He kind of like paints it with a good brush. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't feel bad or like it doesn't feel like
Okay.
he's kind of like this is what shit is.
Yeah.
You know
I
what
can
I'm
see what
saying?
you're saying. I can see what you're saying.
He doesn't glorify it because like, hey, this shit's real. People get fucking killed out here. Don't fucking get it constrained. But he also is like, this is also how I live. And I like the whole album. The production was crazy. This is like if you were to go and be like, hey, is this a classic? Absolutely. Like, unfortunately, he had to put this out against like a lot of people that were coming off of like some fucking fire steam and because he was going up against 50 Cent.
Hold on. I don't know if you did the research. I don't know if you remember.
He got #1 Billboard, right?
Yeah. Like this wasn't an album that like people were just like I never heard Jeezy in 2005. No. Like when he dropped, it was like a goddamn like earthquake. Like all those guys were making. Me and Will were talking about this a couple of days ago. All those guys were making music. You had. I said this 2 days ago. Take it or leave it. If it wasn't for Kanye and debatably like Drake, like a couple years later, from like Kanye from like 2004 and Drake in like 2008, 2009, he started to pop off. I can make the argument that Jeezy would have dominated that era. Like it wouldn't have been close. And I know people are gonna say Wayne. I feel like you remove Kanye from the conversation. It's all Jeezy, man. Fuck Lil Wayne. I said it. All right, the music's fine. That's why he ain't here no more.
I mean, don't you have the era of like 50 Cent with his Massacre? But he's on like the downward slope, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Maybe, like, I don't know. I mean, to your point, like there wasn't really a lot of the cats that were holding it down were on a downward slope, and really Kanye was the only one that was like at that point like the guy because he was just putting out, because that was a late
inspirational ass soul music.
Yeah, which is hard to beat. Like it's just, and he was putting out his own group and all that. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and pass it off. Go ahead.
Because I feel like Wayne was running hard at that time. Anybody on that Swagger Like Us track was running hard at that time. Wayne, Kanye, T.I., Jeezy. Jay-Z was having a little bit of a resurgence.
You know what,
Jay-Z was having a little bit of a resurgence at the time. Let's not act like it was a drought. Wayne might have said it was a drought.
We're gonna hash this out between me and you. We're gonna stop mentioning T.I.'s name with the greats. We're gonna stop that. We're gonna stop.
I mean, you could say he was a solid B tier if you want to, but he was still a solid B tier at the time.
I figured out why I didn't pay attention to Jeezy at all. Who is Mike Jones was dropped at that time, and I was just listening to that on repeat. So, and then like,
yeah. So that was having a resurgence.
Wait, thank you, 40, for actually giving the actual counter argument.
Hey,
right.
In full host defense, in Fullo's defense, Nas did drop "Hip Hop Is Dead" in 2006.
Boom,
So.
boom, boom. Very
Nas
much
had a
me.
resurgence at that time. What are we
I rest
talking
my
about?
case.
Go ahead. We'll
Also,
go
I want
ahead.
to
You
point
can
out
do your album
different
review.
generation. All right, you know what? Will go ahead and do your shit.
B.O.B.
Yeah,
started
before you,
popping off at that
before you
time.
keep
Because y'all
taking
about to
shots,
make
go
y'all
ahead. Go
about to
ahead.
make me start. Y'all about to make me start going crazy and slandering
Bruh,
Ti. I was off it for months, but y'all want to keep bringing it up. Go ahead, Will.
Oh, Missy Elliott's
man,
cookbook was on that too. That was crazy.
Missy Elliott was having a resurgence at that time. What are we
Yeah,
talking
that's when she did.
We're not
That's
doing
when she did
this.
stuff
We're
with
not doing this.
I
who was the girl that
remember Fullo was born in the '90s, so he ain't hear none of
uh,
this.
that's true. Oh, they had Twisted. Ooh.
But
Twister was having a major. Twister was
Dude,
in the
there's a
Guinness
Will
World
Smith
Book of
album.
So, hey everyone, if you're
Twister
paying
was having
attention,
fast with
if you're
everybody.
just now tuning in, Kofi's making the argument that if you dropped music at all in 2005, you were on
man,
top.
all right.
Because everyone was dropping hits.
Hey,
Oh,
That's not the case.
but
hey, 3 6 Mafia dropped at that time as well. So let's
That's different. Different. They're a group, not in the same category.
Wow,
it's such a
Mike
good.
Jones. Like literally, Texas was popping off at that
Yeah.
time.
All right.
Atlanta was popping off.
All right.
What are we talking about here? Everyone was
Oh, the
popping.
game
New York was
documentary
low
was
key
out at that
popping.
time.
Y'all gonna
Yeah.
let Will do his review, or are we gonna?
hey,
Okay.
I mean, hey, I know my
Everyone was
partners
talking
would
about
have did
came
it.
back at that time. What are we talking about
All
here?
right. All right.
I know my partners would have did it for a flat fee. But see
They
the
did. He's dead.
bleed
He's dead
is the
now.
only thing that's gonna relax me. That was a bad reference. But I give it an A with a multiplier, the classic multiplier.
Okay.
Of course, you know, because I take the title tracks out, that's what knocked it out for me. But it's a classic album, and I bang it every week, if not every day. Some song comes across my rotation. So, hey, let's get it. Thug motivated. I am.
Hey,
Go ahead.
someone say you're the
Reverend Run came
last
back
of
in
the
2005. What are we talking about here?
All
Run
right.
DMC technically made a resurgence through Reverend Run. What are we
All
talking
right.
about?
Man,
All right.
kind of dropped like 5 songs in too, didn't you?
Joel Santana dropped. What's the game been missing? Not him, because he didn't last that much
You
longer.
gonna give your rating, or what were we doing?
Man, I remember when, We Belong Together. That dropped in
We
2005.
belong together. Right. Carrie was popping off. Everybody was popping off in
Hey,
Yeah.
2005.
remember, hey, Justin, this one for you. Remember Feel Good? That dropped in 2005.
Oh, yeah.
I
That's a
think
Gorilla too. That's
Fort
crazy.
Minor probably took off in 2005. What are we
Uh,
talking about, man?
Damn, even David Banner. Holy shit.
David Banner.
That's
David
crazy.
Banner. Mississippi was popping off. What are we talking about here?
Yeah,
I
this
don't
is
even remember
crazy.
what we're talking about anymore. I just keep naming names.
You know, the best
Hey,
part is,
hey,
Fifty Cent was like a
hey,
regular dude at that
all
time.
the bad girl with 2005 too.
Who?
What?
Gwen Stefani, y'all are
Oh,
back.
Yo, you
oh
know what?
shit.
Fatty Cool, that Diddy group was popping off in 2005, I bet. One of them making the bands. Making the bands was popping
Yeah,
off. What are we talking about?
yeah, that was a good era. That was a really good era. I'm still, you know what the crazy part is? Yin Yang Twins, because they did a Whisper, didn't they?
Yeah, Whisper.
That was the USA album.
Gideon Twins was still going hard. I mean, they were on their way out, but
Hey,
they're still going hard.
hey, for the Missy Elliott conversation we had before the show, Lose Control.
Lu-
Yeah, music
Sierra.
makes you
Sierra
lose
was also
control.
taking off.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Jeezy man. I'm sorry, man. That's a hard era to go into.
I'm
You
telling you,
have
there was a,
literally like classics all over the place.
like
What? God damn.
Hey, Cheddar, what you give
I
it?
know they're trying to say that Atlanta still goes hard, but there was a point in time where I feel like Atlanta was going super duper hard compared to now. I don't know, man. But there's a lot of individual personalities back in the day when Atlanta was popping back then. But
That was
anyway, let me go ahead
Wood
and go into
Grain,
my rating.
Jewel Santana.
I would rate this an A plus. No said. This is Jeezy. A plus. High quality snow. And side note, man, I remember, man, back in the day, I was trying to get this snowman T-shirt, man. I had my aunt up in New York searching around for it and everything, and I think it was the day she called my mom. She said, "I found the shirts. I'm gonna get one to send down to them." And I think the very next day is when it came on the news about how they're all about crack cocaine, and I never got my shirt because of that. And they banned Jeezy shirts around the schools. Can't ban the snowman came out shortly after that. Listen, I just remember it was crazy times back in the day, man. You know, I was thinking about this too during this week when I was listening to this joint, man. If Etsy, if Amazon or Etsy had been around at the time, Jeezy would have made $1 million off the t-shirts alone.
Yeah.
Let's be real. He would have had his own Etsy shop. He could have made $1 million off a Snowman t-shirt by itself. But that was
Yeah.
back in the day. You know what I'm saying? We live in a new day and age. Shout out to I don't even know the name of the man that created Amazon. I can't remember his name right now. But yeah, man, crazy
Oh, what the
times.
How he
fuck
get a
is his
shout out?
name?
Bus is the bus?
How the
I
fuck he
can't
get?
remember his name. Because he created, I don't know who created Etsy. Nobody knows who created Etsy. All I'm saying is Jeezy could have made $1 million. But he didn't need to. He was already making $1 million off that white. But yeah, no, A+. So I was just stalling until Fu got back. So Fu, what's your rating, bro?
All right.
You could give it a solid B plus.
This is the easiest one we've done so far. This is A plus. It's a classic album. I think that it is after going back and like really sitting with it and like being an adult and listening to the entire album through. This is one of my favorite hip hop albums of all time. Like I would rank this as like it's crazy. But I would rank this in my top 10 like albums all time. This shit was basically a masterpiece.
It's full of.
Same.
I know. Bun B dropped Trill in 2005.
Yeah,
Hey,
that was a
Millionaire
good
dropped
album
in
too.
2005. What are we talking about?
so
I think Pimp C
we
was
went,
doing that too. Hey,
we
Tony
went
full of.
through.
Yayo came back in 2005.
Oh,
After Better Get Better.
if you had to rate it from 1 to Trap House, what would you give it?
Vanilla Ice dropped it. Never mind, I'm good.
I give it 5.
Vanilla Ice was out here.
I give it 5 trap houses, 2 kick those.
I gave it 35 bricks.
Hey man, hey Triple Beeman.
Hey.
I want to thank you guys for everybody who tuned in tonight and all this other stuff. But here's the deal. Carter 2 is ass.
All right, so we did this Secret Santa thing. So I guess this is where we try to figure out who gave who what album, what gift. Who y'all think?
I said we all put a guess down before we say who's right and who's wrong.
Can we change the name from Secret Santa to like Who is Santa
No.
or Who is Mike Jones?
No.
I just want to put some respect back on Mike Jones' name right quick. All right. So how are we doing this? Who picks first?
So we should start with Dub and then work its way through the week. So Dub, Fullo, me, 40.
Hold on. So we just saying who I feel gave what?
Yeah.
I feel like Cheddar. I feel like Cheddar gave me Zoo. I feel like.
Oh, we're doing it for everybody? Get the guess for like what everybody's doing?
Wait,
Okay,
well, I can do mine. I feel like you gave me Zoo, bro. I feel like you gave me Zoo.
All right, so damn man, I can't remember your name for shit. Fullo.
It's the most important one.
Just to clarify for everybody, we're not actually friends. We don't know each other's name.
All right,
who'd you
what was my album? I was Gen X. I'm gonna go with Kofi.
Yeah, everybody album. I did everybody.
It don't have to make sense. It don't have to make sense. That's why
Hey, Fuller, pass it to me right quick. Fuller, wait, can I do it? Can I do it? I think the person who gave me this Jeezy album was Kobe. One of us about to be right out here. No.
Someone's right.
Honestly, so I kind of had an idea of like who did what. I think Wu would have given me no because the way that I was doing the mathematics in my head.
Kofi, who'd you choose, Kofi?
I think Fullo gave me Monster Bullshit Life's Great.
I think that.
Who the hell would have given me? So the problem is you see, like it's easier with like a lot of other albums because like the Nas one, I don't know how many people even knew what album that was. So that was like.
We'll just go give your guess for all four then. This is your guess for all four.
Right? I go Cheddar. GNX was from Justin. Mine's the bullshit Fullo, and I don't know who gave Young Jeezy.
That was my guess too. I figured that actually lines up perfectly with what my guess was. I
So
figured Fu or Wu did.
He don't even know. He's drunk. Yo, he's drunk. He don't even know.
fuck
Dub
it up.
did 101. Fullo did Nascent. And then GNX was 40.
But here's the thing, man. For me, it's Nascent seems like that would be an easier choice, and I feel like Wu would do it. I
Yeah,
would
but he
think
couldn't even
Wu would
pronounce his
go.
name to begin with.
Yeah, but I feel like that's a very easy way to like make shit up. To be like, I don't even know what this is. But it is a
Nah,
Chicago,
Santo.
right?
Nas?
Full don't know too much about. I feel like though it's low hanging fruit to not just say Fullo gave um Wu the
Zoom.
the Curry album. But I think it's Fullo Curry.
Here's the
Let's
So
problem. Here's,
Fullo
wait,
gave
here's,
the
wait, here's
Denzel
the
Curry.
problem with your logic. But you wouldn't have known. But you wouldn't have known this at the time. That's actually
That's
my least
true.
favorite Denzel Curry album.
Let's go ahead and reveal because I will say, I'm going to admit, man, I gave Dub the Zoo album, and it was a misdirect because I knew Jared also knew a lot about that album, knew a lot about Denzel Curry, so I figured he would do a lot of talking.
As soon as I heard Zoo, I was like,
Oh, that's a standing
Yeah.
ovation.
I tried. Apparently, it didn't work for Dub, but that was yeah, that was part of the plan. And in fact, my original gift anyway was Dear Silas. That was my backup. That was my backup
It
gift.
makes
You see,
sense.
you know that I prefer Dear Silence.
Yeah. See, so I figured I
You know
win either
what?
way.
That means that Fullo did not send
yeah,
to Kofi
Yeah.
I fuck with
Yep.
Nas.
because Fullo was listening to Chicago-based producers and stuff, so that makes sense. And then
That's
Wu
not
would have given
at all
me.
how I found Nasin, but okay.
I mean,
And yeah,
hey,
I
that's how I
gave
did it.
I gave you the
What?
Jeezy album for that man comment.
I, you know what? So that was like my first initial, but then when like the Jeezy album, I was like, who? Because like the thing that fucked me up is that once you gave me Jeezy, I'm like, all three of them could have just thrown the shit at me.
See,
I'll be
It could have
honest
I was
been.
with you,
almost.
bro. Whoever gave me GNX,
It was too easy.
Yeah.
Like, wow, it was way too.
hold on. Here's my thing. Here's my thing with GNX. I had already been listening to it, so it was like, oh, I'm just gonna listen to this album more. All
Oh,
right.
But like,
I gave you. So
I
I
was
gave
hoping
you
for some
GNX.
spice. I was hoping for something wild, something crazy.
No, no, so I gave you
I will
GNX
say, the
specifically
minute 40
because
said I'm picking something more mainstream this time around, and then I heard GNX, I was like, okay, that was him.
It
so
was
I
too easy.
picked GNX because I knew that Fullo would want to talk about it,
Yeah.
and if we don't get to it now, that could go and get pushed off to the side. So I'm like, you know what? This is like the perfect coincide. Like this is a Christmas gift.
Wait. While I appreciate the sentiment, I actually did want to discuss GNX. Similar to Zoo, is not my favorite project from that artist.
I
I
will
like
say,
the
I
you
thought
know
I thought the heavy hitting beats on Zoo would have really been the swan song for Stevens Heart. I really thought the way as
how
much
much.
as those beats hit.
Wait, hold on. How much Denzel Curry do you listen to?
Uh, in passing, but really, other
Okay.
than balloons, not balloons, other than Taboo, which I always mix up and
Okay.
think that just says balloons. But other than that, and then Zoo, because Zoo was big. I listened to Zoo front to back a lot.
I bet.
Um, and then now I just kind of peep them whenever I catch them. But like the album with T Pain was on was decent too. With the blue cover, I forget what it's called, but I did like that one.
The reason why I chose Nascent for I think it was it for Kofi. The reason I
Yes,
chose
sir.
Nascent for Kofi is because it actually had nothing to do with Chicago-based producers at all. So I just think that I like listening to. I didn't choose this life. This life chose me. As I've gotten older, I just started listening to more obscure artists, and that's just how it is. And then, weirdly enough, a lot of these artists I'm listening to, they have like they're not new artists. They have long careers. So like Orion's Son has a long career. Jordan Ward's been making music for like 10 years, and so it's just like I don't know, man. I felt like it was a little bit different, a little bit something, a little bit of flavor and shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? Here come a brand new flavor in your ear. You smell it.
Oh, if I had to choose, I would have made you listen to that Craig Mack album. Merry Christmas. That's
I
the
will
best
say
rapper of all.
for if I had gotten Fullo, I would have done. Actually, my original pick would have been that Toby Lou album, but then you said you already heard it, so I had to try to pivot to something else. And
He
I
has like
see what
three
I.
others. We talked about this. He had like 3 other albums.
Yeah, no, but like that one was the main one that I really wanted to send your way, and I might have just doubled back to the first one if that would have been the case. Because
Okay,
if you
bet.
never really heard the first one, but it's like a good like 20 something tracks where it's like it's a bit much. And then for 40, I think I was just gonna go with Because the Internet, because I feel like it's different enough, and there's a whole bunch of shit you could have dove into with like the live concerts and like there's a whole bunch of extra material that you could have dove into. I'm
Just
like,
a
yeah,
week
but
ago, you could count, and that's out, and my paper. I've actually listened to that album. I actually own it. I actually own that album.
If I
what
got
was the
Steve, I
surprise?
would have made him listen. If I got Steve, I would have made him listen to Chronocopia because I didn't listen to it.
Oh,
I,
I would've been
I will say,
I got Andre out.
oh, 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 oh. Speaking of Andre album, I would have actually picked the Class of 3000 soundtrack, which is Andre 3000 composing an entire animated cartoon soundtrack, which is technically Andre 3000 making an album, and then that would have been your Christmas present, and you would
I
have had
will
to deal
say,
with it, baby.
hey,
Hey,
What?
we'll go ahead and get us out of here.
All right,
hey,
so
I was gonna say I almost did pick a Rex Life Raj album for Dub. It would have been like Father Figure One. I almost went with that one. It has a little bit more trappy vibes to it. But anyway, let's go ahead and fade out on this. We've had enough. Jeezy, Snowman, light chance of snow. You know what I'm saying? We out here. 8732, what it do?
all right, this is
Anyway,
I'm out.
Dude, dude.
but
USDA is the click.
well, he ain't listening. So next week we gave Steer West since she helped us out with the
Oh
shit,
yeah.
and we gave her the opportunity to choose what album she wants us to do, and she decided that we are going to go with Confessions by Usher.
Yo,
Oh,
real talk.
God.
I was gonna bring up. I was about.
Hey, hold up! Before we find out, we got Triple Beaming in his mind. I heard he want to give a little tribute
Man,
to
where Jared ass go,
man.
man?
He done slid out. We don't know what happened to him.
Man,
Need
hey,
some space time.
look, I just wanted to say great review, but I'm disappointed in y'all because y'all didn't mention at all my favorite track off the Motivation 101.
What's that?
And this is like a song if I was a boxer, if I was coming out, you know, I don't know if you ever thought about your song if you was coming out as a boxer. It'd be that Get Your Mind Right, man. Come on,
Let
man.
me.
The realest nigga in it, you
Oh,
already know.
That is a good song. That is a good song.
but hey, Triple Beam,
Hey,
we've
salute
been
to
doing
y'all though.
out here.
Peace.
Keep doing it. Keep
Hey,
doing it big. I be peeping your channel, so keep doing it big, brother.
For sure,
whew.
for sure.
Yes,
Y'all
sir.
keep
So,
going too.
Confessions, Usher, next week on the Album Review Club. Y'all
I might
stay
have to
easy out.
hop. I'm gonna hop on next week too. That's
Yes,
all.
sir.
Bet.
Share a
Yeah.
friend.